Friends, so today is our day four of this 10-day challenge for CISSP. So within this 10 days, you are going to understand each and everything about CISSP. Also, how to handle the questions in the CISSP. I think now you are aware that majorly we are getting 4 types of questions in CISSP, and these 4 types are based on the concept, based on how to use, when to use, and where to use. Then the third category is about the outcome or the impact of implementing or using that particular concept or principles. Then the fourth is about the final, it means say the steps which are associated to that particular concept. Fourth type of questions are from that particular category. So in this particular day 4, we are going to cover the domain 3 of CISSP, that is about security architecture and engineering. So in this particular domain 3 of CISSP, we are going to cover what are the important takeaways from this particular domain, and then finally we will see some different types of questions related to a particular topic takeaway. So if we see that as per the ISC square CBK, we have total 11 topics in this particular domain, as there are 63 total topics available in the whole CISSP. So out of 63, 11 topics are from this particular domain itself, right? So we can say that on an average we will get 2 questions per topic, so we can expect 20 to 22 questions from this particular domain itself. So it is a very important domain overall. That's why let's give some time to this. So this particular domain covers design principles, okay, and concept of security models, then system security requirements. It also covers the capability of information system for to handle security, covering memory protection, trusted platform modules, encryption and decryption. Also, we need to understand about the security architecture, design and solution element for different types of vulnerabilities, and also we need to understand how to mitigate those vulnerabilities in different kind of systems like client-based, server-based, database system, cryptographic system, IoTs, distributed cloud computing, and industrial control system. But we need to understand these systems also, what exactly these systems means. Okay, so so these are the some more topics which are covered. So cryptography is also covered in this particular domain only. Also the security principles to site and design facility is also covered in this. How to implement site and facility security controls is covered in this particular topic itself. Now let's take the topic takeaways. So when we are talking about the topic takeaways, then the most important thing in the whole domain is understanding the base on which the whole domain is it means written, or whole domain is defined. So here the domain is for security architecture. So we need to understand what exactly security architecture means, and we also need to understand what exactly security engineering means. So that is the most important topic takeaway. So the next takeaway is from the first topic, implement and manage engineering processes using secure design principles. So we need to understand what exactly secure design principles means. In this, we need to understand the fundamental of security architecture. We need to understand the 10 principles given by S&S principles. And also we need to understand the 5 architectural principles and 5 design principles given in the ISO 19249 standard. Then we need to know what exactly defense in depth means. Also, what exactly it means while we are using the security principles, how to use those principles and where to use those principles. We need to understand that also. So these are the topic takeaways. So whenever we are going to touch the questions, then we will see what exactly the impact of these will be, right? So what exactly I have done, I have already did all the 3000 questions according to these 63 topics, so that each and every topic will have their own separate questions, and whenever you are going to revise those particular questions, and further those questions are divided into sets of 10, 20, 30, 50 and 100. By doing the questions in sets, you program your mind so that it can handle whenever it is you are going to take that particular exam, CISSP exam, your mind is already programmed at that moment of the time. So before 10 questions, it will not drift, it will not go from one point to the other point, right? So mind drifting will not be there. That's why the concept of sets is there, right? So in between, after exactly doing 10 questions, you can just have a thought and then again focus your mind further on the questions, right? So that is the principle you should use. So further in this particular domain, you need to understand what exactly security principles means and what are the 10 S&S principles. S&S principles here are economy of mechanism, fail-safe default, complete mediation, open design, separation of privileges, then least common mechanism, psychological acceptability, work factor, and compromise recording. So you need to understand the concept of these 10 principles. Also, you need to understand where exactly these can be implemented at what moment of the time. And whenever these principles were implemented, what exactly the impact of these principles will be. Also, you need to understand the steps. If there is any steps in the implementation of these principles, you need to understand the same also. So whenever you are going to touch the book, just it means study in this particular way. So, and then you also need to understand the ISO 19249 standard. So in this particular standard, there are 5 architectural level principles and 5 design principles. So these 5 architectural principles are domain separation, layering, encapsulation, redundancy, virtualization, and 5 design principles are least privilege, attack surface minimization, centralized parameter validation, centralized journal security services, preparing for error, and exceptional handling. So with this, friend, we can move to the other topic. So the other topic is related to the security models. So we need to, the topic name is understand the fundamental concept of security models. So here the name itself say you need to first understand what exactly security models means. Then you need to understand what are the different types of security models covered as per the ISC square CBK. Then in the CBK, they covered 4 models: Bella-Padula, Biba, Clark-Wilson, and Brevure-Ness. So you need to understand that 4 models you need to understand for this particular examination. And in Bella-Padula and Biba model, you need to understand the properties like simple security property, star property, discretionary security property. And in the Biba model, you need to understand about the simple integrity axiom and the star integrity axiom property. So if you understand these model in this way, then the type of the questions which you will get in the exam will revolve around these concepts only. Moving further, you to the next topic, that is select control based upon system security requirements. So in any scenario, in any environment, you need to implement some security controls, but from where exactly you will get these controls? From some standards only, or from some frameworks? So here in this particular topic itself, the ISC square wants you to understand that there are some frameworks available from where you can take these controls, right, and do the baselining or do the it means you can select that these are the 10 controls which will be implementable on my environment, right? So you need to understand that thing, but before that you need to understand that these are the 5 or 6 frameworks. So as per the CBK, you need to understand about the ISO 27001, then you need to understand about the NIST Special Publication 837. Also you need to understand about the NIST Cybersecurity Framework CSF, then ISA 62443 standard and the COVID 5 standard. So these are the 5 standards from which you can take the security controls based upon the system security requirements or the ISMS which you have created in your environment. But you also need to understand the life cycle of plan, do, check, and act. So whenever you are planning to implement any particular control, then you select that particular control, check that particular control, then finally act on that particular control. Like, so you need to understand the whole cycle: plan, do, check, and act cycle. So the next topic is the topic of understand security capabilities of information systems. So whenever you are talking about this particular topic, then you need to understand about the memory protection, like related to the RAM, or we can say the system, right? So, and the potential weaknesses in the same. Okay, then virtualization, you need to understand what exactly it means, where exactly we can use it, how to secure the same. Then trusted platform module, you need to understand. then cryptographic modules, hardware security modules, and we also call them HSM and smart card. So these are the minimum things which you require from this particular topic, right? And if you just understand these things thoroughly, then it is more than enough for the exam also. So moving to the next topic, we can say that the next topic is assess and mitigate the vulnerabilities of security architectures, design, and solution elements. So here you need to understand what are the different architectures are there, like client-based, server-based, database system, cryptographic system, industrial control system, cloud-based system, distributed system, and Internet of Things. So in cryptographic system, further you need to understand about the algorithms and protocol weaknesses, about the implementation weaknesses, about the key management vulnerabilities. So all these parameters you need to understand. So taking the next topic, that is this assess and mitigate vulnerabilities in web-based systems. So now you need to take one system one by one. So the first one we are taking is the web-based system. So in web-based system, the list of the vulnerabilities or common weaknesses, and common controls. So you should know from where exactly you can take these particular information. So OWASP is a very good portal. From OWASP you can list down, you can take all the listed vulnerabilities. So currently the OWASP 2017 is there, which is giving the top 10 list of vulnerabilities, right? Then we have Mitre common weakness enumeration. From it is also a list of all the common weaknesses in any particular web-based system. So you can get all those list of weaknesses from there also. Also, you need to understand that there is a SANS 25 most dangerous programming error, which any particular security professionals should know. And you should know that these are the locations from where I can get that particular information. With this, you should know what exactly injection vulnerabilities are, like SQL injection, right? Then broken authentication you should understand. Plain text password in transit you should understand. Then plain text password at rest you should understand. Weak passwords, single factor authentication, password guessing, man in the browser attack, session hijacking, cross-site scripting, insufficient logging and monitoring. Then using component with known vulnerabilities, cross-site scripting, security misconfiguration, broken access control, XML external entities, and sensitive data exposure. So all these are the vulnerabilities associated to any particular web-based system. There are some more vulnerabilities which are related to mobile system which you need to understand. These are weak or missing passwords or pins, we can say, lack of multi-factor authentication, long session lifetime, wireless vulnerabilities, both Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, then mobile malware, lack of security software, unpatched operating system or browser, and lack of inherent firewall, and insecure devices like broken devices, okay, jailbroken we can say. So with this, the next topic is about the embedded security, embedded devices. So when we are talking about the embedded devices, we need to understand what exactly embedded devices means. Then we need to know the attack surface on which there can be some type of attack on embedded devices. So it can be categorized user interface, physical attacks, or sensor based. Further, two more categories are there, like output attacks and processor based attacks, which you need to understand. So the next is about the cryptography. So cryptography in itself, it is a very important topic in the overall security. So you need to understand the cryptography. So you need to understand about the life cycle of the cryptography and different cryptographical methods like symmetric, stream cipher, block cipher modes of operations, hashing you need to understand, symmetric and asymmetric encryption, especially the public key based cryptography you need to understand. Then PKI infrastructure, then key management practices you need to understand related to cryptography and PKI, then secure key generation, secure key storage and use, then separation of duties and well controlled and split knowledge in terms of cryptography, how these principles are going to be implied on cryptography. Also, you need to understand the timely key rotation and key change technique, and key destruction, how to finally destruct the cryptographic key. And finally, you need to understand what exactly digital signature is, how to use the same, what are the different processes involved in the same. So the next topic is related to cryptography only, and in cryptography you need to understand how cryptography can help in known repudiation, especially the digital signature, in integrity, how it it impact, what exactly the impact of the same. And also we need to understand the method of cryptographic analytic attack, like attack, what are the different attack models, parallel attacks and other attacks. Then attacks primarily of interest to cryptographers, which are those, and linear crypto analysis you need to understand. You also need to understand the difference between crypto analysis, cryptography and cryptology, right? Then finally you need to understand about the digital right management, DRM. Finally friends, the next topic is about the physical site design. So for the physical site design, I have taken the slides which I have used in my last video, in the live classes video. So I have used all those sites because I found that whatever key terms are there, I have already taken there in those particular videos also. That's why I have taken from there itself. So in physical site design, you need to understand about the primary concern before selecting a site and after selecting a site, right? Then you also need to understand about the perimeter security, like the fences, gates, lightning, CCTV, locks, smart cards, walls and bollards. So when to use them, where to use them, and also what exactly it means, they means. Then you need to understand a very important concept of man trap, tailgating, piggy banking and turnstile, right? So these are the things which you need to understand in physical security access. With this, you also need to understand about the building defenses, like motion detector, what are the different types, wave pattern, photoelectric, infrared, heat based, capacitance based, passive audio, and what are the alarms which we can attach those particular detectors, like deterrent alarms, repellent alarms, notification alarm, local system alarm, central station alarm, auxiliary alarm, and the impact of guards and dogs in any particular building defense, right? So moving further, we need to understand about the environmental control, especially the electricity, right? So total 6 terms are there which you need to understand. Fault, what exactly electricity fault means, what exactly brownout means, what exactly blackout means, what is a surge, what is a spike, what is a sag. Okay, then you need to understand what kind of protection you can have in your environment to protect from all these, like you can use surge protector, online UPS, generators you can use, and finally the other things like EMI, we can say electromagnetic induction, interference or crosstalk. So these are the important topics which you need to understand in environmental controls. Also you need to understand that about HVAC, humidity level should be in between 40 to 60%, ambient temperature should be 60 to 75% degree. Then the high humidity leads to corrosion and low humidity leads to static electricity. Static and corrosion, but exactly the impact of the same will be and how we can protect from the same. So for protection we can use proper grounding, anti-static straps, proper humidity levels, we can use these particular. So one more very important topic in physical security is about the fire defenses. So in the fire defenses, 2 important things are there, the detection system and the suppression system. So when we are talking about the detection system, it can be divided into 4 types: fixed temperature, rate of rise of temperature, flame actuated detection system, and smoke actuated detection system. And for the suppression system, you can use sprinkler, like wet pipes, dry pipes, dilute type and pre-action types. So with this friend, there's one more important slide which I want to show you, that is fire drills and evacuation routes are very important in terms of the fire defense. We should remember this thing. And whenever for any type of fire, 3 things are there. One is oxygen, heat we can say ambient temperature, and fuel. If we remove any one of these, then automatically the fire will doze off, right? And what are the different categories of fire, like class A fire, class B fire, class C fire, class D fire, class K fire. So you need to understand what are these different types and how to suppress these categories. So these are given already in this. Okay, so after having this understanding of these key takeaways from this particular domain, now you need to take what are the different types of questions which can be formed around these key takeaways. And the questions are already we discussed. These are of 4 types based on the concept, based on how to use that particular concept, when to use that particular concept, and where to use that particular concept. Also some questions are based on the impact or outcome, and some of the questions are based on process or methodology based. I just want to share with you that you will find that there is the maximum questions are depending on how to use, when to use, and where to use, right? And you will find very few questions which are directly based on the I can say the concept. Indirectly they can ask about the concept, but any questions which you will find very few questions, right? Or you will not find any, not even a single question which is based on that particular concept. But once you know that particular concept, then only you can decide when to use, where to use, and how to use that particular concept, right? So I'm taking one example here. The example is about one question which is based on the steps or methodology. So here Joey would also like to digitally sign the email that he sends to Tommy. So he wants to digitally sign any particular email that he sends to someone, right? Person A wants to digitally sign any particular email when he is sending a email to person B, right? So what key he will use to digitally sign that particular document? So in that case, you should understand the concept and the steps. So whenever there is this communication of emails or digital signature, in the steps you should understand, whenever A want to send it to B, then A will use his own private key to encrypt the message and send it to B. Now B will decrypt that particular message using the public key of A, right? So here in this particular example, A means Joey, B means Tommy. So Joey private key he will use to send that particular message, to encrypt that particular message and send it, and Tommy will use the public key of Joey to decrypt that particular message and read it, right? So this is how, so this type of questions are based on the steps. Now let's take one more question which is related to how to use, when to use, and where to use. So if you want to verify a software package that you downloaded matches the original version, okay, suppose you are downloading some softwares from the internet, right? Some executable, or we can say some file from internet. You want to verify the authenticity of that particular file, whether it is an authentic file or so. To check that particular authenticity, what exactly you will check? You will check the integrity of that particular file. To check the integrity of that particular file, what exactly you will check? You will normally, the uploader of that particular file or the portal on which that particular file was uploaded, they will create a hash file at that particular time of the upload, and then they will put that particular hash value, right? So whenever you download that particular file and you calculate the hash value of that particular file, the hash value should be exactly same at that which is given in that particular portal itself, right? Or which is given in the document of that particular tool or exe executable or file, right? So there are different hashing algorithms available, like MD5 3D this MD5 SHA-1 SHA-256, but there are some collisions can happen in MD5. Because of the same, it is not that much secure. But SHA-256, or we can say SHA-2, normally there are two, SHA-1 and SHA-256, and SHA-256 we also call it as SHA-2. So SHA-2 is the most secure out of these. That's why always remember, we need to select the best possible answer, right? So MD5 is also one of the answers, SHA-1 is also one of the answer, and SHA-256 is also one of the answer. But the only thing is, we are going to use SHA-256, right? And 3DS is not a hashing, right? It is not a hashing algo. So just it will be a odd one out. So out of MD5, SHA-1 and SHA-256, we need to select one. And out of these three also, SHA-256 is the best possible answer out of the whole, right? So this type of questions are how to use, where to use, and when to use. How, when, and where, right? These are the two important three things. Whenever you are going to discuss about any topic, you are going to study, just think all these three concepts in your mind. So the next question is directly related based on a concept. Which one of the following is not an attribute of a hashing algorithm? But for this, you need to understand what exactly a hashing algorithm means, right? And how exactly a hashing algorithm works. So once you understand this thing, then you can say, oh, hashing do not use any particular key for encryption or decryption, right? So that's why you can pinpoint that the answer A is the correct answer. It means they require a cryptographic key. Hash algorithm, they require a cryptographic key is an attribute of a hashing algorithm. Moving to the next question, which is based on a outcome or impact. So we can say when we are talking about outcome or impact, then let's take this particular question. Which one of the following cryptographic goals protect against the risk of data theft when a device is lost or stolen? So whenever any particular device is lost or stolen, what exactly will happen? If that particular data is there in plain text form, anyone can get that particular data, right? So what exactly we are losing? We are losing the confidentiality of that particular data. So, and if we implement encryption, right? If we encrypt the whole hard drive, in that particular case, even if you lose that particular hardware, then automatically the data is still there, and the user is not able to see that particular data. So out of CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability you lost because that particular tool or the laptop or the desktop in which the data was there is already lost. So availability is not with you, right? But the confidentiality is still, you can maintain the same using encryption technique. So that's why we can say cryptographic goals is there whenever we implement encryption, and it protects the confidentiality of that particular data within that particular equipment. So with this, I have given you 4 different categories, like based on the concept, how to use, when to use, where to use. Also, I have given you some of the questions type based on each and every. So what exactly I have done, these 3,000 questions which I have just created, these 3,000 questions are based on these important key terms which is taken from each and every domain. Now I have segregated them into different topics, into 63 topics. These 60 topic itself, I have categorized them based on the concept. So if this particular topic is there, within topic A, these are the 10 key takeaways. So from the very first takeaway, based on the concept, we can get these questions. Based on how to use, when to use, where to use, we can get these type of questions. Based on the impact or outcome, we can get these 3 or 4 questions. Based on the methodology and process, we can get these 5 questions. So doing so, we are able to cover each and every topic in depth. And even it is not so that you require these particular question set or these I can say the whole bundle of the 3,000 questions when you just start preparing for the exam. No, you require it before preparing for the exam, right? The reason for the same is your thinking, your perception of the exam will change completely when you are going to study like using these particular concepts, right? So if you use this particular concept of categorizing and then further categorizing, dividing them into different types and then studying, then automatically your grasping power will increase. Automatically, whenever you are going to touch that particular topic, you will think, your mind will think about that particular concept. Your mind will think about where I can use that particular concept, how this particular concept can be used, right? And when I should use this particular concept. And then it will also think about the impact of using the same, right? And also when you are going to use the same, what are the steps, right? So if you study in this way, then the outcome will totally be different, and this question set is going to make your understanding in this way. So I recommend you that if you just do a 10 set question before studying any particular domain, a single set of 10 questions of that particular topic, if you touch that particular 10 set, because it will cover each and every topic which is given in that particular, and it will take 1 or 2 of these categories, and automatically your perception, you will think, your mind will also start thinking in that particular direction also. So that was the main aim of these particular questions. With this, you require strong will and dedication. Without this, every day I'm telling you, CISSP is a marathon, right? So this marathon you can win only if you have a strong will and a strong dedication in you. Once you have both these qualities, just keeps on studying, then automatically you will get the certification. But with this, also remember about the forgetting curve. I'm showing the same every day because these are the most important thing. Having a strong will, a dedication, having a understanding of the forgetting curve. So whatever you have studied yesterday, if you do a question set of the same today, or if you revise the same using different techniques like Quizlet, like notes, your own notes or my notes, you can use any of these techniques and then keeps on revising on regular basis. Okay, so within the class you will start forgetting. So within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, the forgetting curve starts working. So try to revise the same, try to watch the video again and again, try to read the book again and again, try to use different context, like watch the video, study from the book, do the questions, study from the flashcards. So these are the techniques by which you can work on. And finally friends, I just want to recommend my set of questions, set of 3000 plus questions. I'm again telling you, it is not required that you are going to purchase the same at the end of the your preparation phase. No, you should start preparing from the day one, because CISSP is all about practice. More you practice, more are the chances that you are able to clear the same, right? So using the different context, if you start studying, start taking one set always. Before starting the chapter or domain, take a particular set. Once you take that particular set, the 10 questions will make your mind to think in a particular way of the CISSP CBK, right? So that's how I have designed all these 10 sets, all these sets of 10, so that they should be taken before studying any particular domain, right? So this is what I want to tell. Just purchase these 3000 plus questions for the overall complete preparation of the CISSP, and it will cover all the domains, all topics within the CISSP, right? So with this, I want to say thank you very much.